guys, welcome back to another video. I just wanted to pop in and say before the video starts that I'm sorry for not uploading anything for quite a while now. I think it's been like 2 months, it's gone so quick. It's been quite a stressful but also very exciting time. So me and my partner are in the process of buying our first home together. So basically for the past couple of months I've just been like on property websites, like searching. I swear it's literally been taking up my whole day, just scrolling through these houses and then maybe coming back an hour later and doing the same thing and with like no changes, because obviously they're not uploading houses that often. But yeah, just really seemed to consume like all my time. Didn't really have time to make any videos. I'm very excited and happy to say though, we've had an offer accepted on a place. We haven't like signed anything yet, so fingers crossed it all goes smoothly from here and it actually becomes a house, because it's so exciting. We've got an amazing garden, and in the garden is this beautiful wooden cabin that's going to make like the perfect pottery studio. It's insulated, it's already got electric out there. I'm so excited. So yeah, fingers crossed that it all goes through and it all goes through smoothly, and then later on in the year I'll be making some lovely garden pottery studio videos. So excited. So I'll now start the video. I've also been working on this video for like the past 4 weeks, so I don't know, it's been quite a big project that's taken up quite a lot of time, so I haven't really had time to film any other types of videos. But once this one is kind of wrapped up, I'll hopefully be back to doing my weekly uploads, because I was really loving making YouTube videos, so I want to keep doing it. And yeah, excited about maybe making garden pottery studio videos in the future and having a garden, and we want to grow loads of veggies and fruit and flowers that I can put in my little vases. So excited. Okay, anyway, yeah, I will now start the video, which is going to be going back like 4 weeks maybe, right through to now. I hope you enjoy the video, and please subscribe and like the video if you liked it. And yeah, see you soon, bye. Hi guys, my name is Shannon and welcome back to my channel, The Crafting Chicken. In today's video I'm going to be working on a wholesale order. So I've had a wholesale order come in for a new food hall that's opening at the Norfolk Showground, which is quite close to where I am. So they've placed a wholesale order, but they've also ordered 10 custom serving bowls that they're going to have on their deli to serve a selection of olives, which is very cool. I absolutely love olives, so I'm definitely going to be heading down there once it's open. So it opens on the 20th of May. And I'm going to be getting myself some olives out of my own little bowls. So yes, should be quite an exciting video, getting to see me make everything, pack it up. I'll take it to them, deliver it, and then I'll go back once it's opened and we can see all my pots in action. So for the wholesale order, they've ordered everything in lots of 6. So we've got 6 green cereal bowls, clear cereal bowls, green espresso mugs, clear espresso mugs, clear salt pigs, clear dressing bowls, clear spoon rests, green straight mugs, clear straight mugs, and clear tea strainers. So 6 of all of them. I'm going to add an extra one on, so I'm going to make 7 of everything, just in case one goes wrong or something. So while my shop was open, I got started on a few of the kind of more simple shapes. So I did the 6 salt pigs and 6 spoon rests. Today is Sunday, so the shop's shut, which just makes me feel a bit more like relaxed when I'm making stuff, so I can kind of make some more things, get some more done. So I was thinking today I would do the espresso mugs, the straight mugs, and the tea strainers. So all the kind of like cylinder shaped things. Because in a couple days time, on Tuesday, when they're dry enough to trim and handle, I've got some spare time, so that'll give me time to do the handles. And then tomorrow, which is a Monday, between my lessons in the morning and the evening, I'm going to get the bowls done. And then, so I thought I'd do the wholesale order first of all the different bits and pieces, and then once that's done, I'll then move on to doing the deli bowls. So for them, they want, they're really big bowls, so it's going to be 21 centimeters diameter and 11 centimeters height. They want to be quite wide at the base, so we don't want them coming like right narrow. They'll be fairly like wide, with just like a little curve at the base. And they want 10 of those in my clear glaze. So you just get the lovely natural clay colour with the speckles in the clay come through. So yeah, very exciting. Let's get started. guys, little update. I didn't manage to get the big mugs made yesterday. I made the tea strainers and the espresso mugs yesterday. 5 of the espresso mugs I ended up redoing because they weren't quite the right dimensions. And then it was just getting on a little bit, so I started quite late in the day. So yeah, I didn't get around to doing the straight-sided mugs, but I'm gonna do them today. And I'm also going to trim the salt pigs and the spoon rests that I made a few days ago, as they are now ready to trim. Yeah, my original plan was to do all the bowls today, but I think that's going to be enough things to do before my evening lesson. I've just had a lesson as well. So I'll get those done. And then tomorrow, I think the espresso mugs and tea strainers will then be dry enough to trim and handle. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. And then if I have time, maybe some bowls. If not, I've got Thursday as a day off, so I'll finish everything, like all the bowls and things, all the throwing on Thursday. And then I'll be able to trim everything that's left over on Friday when I'm in the shop. And that will be all the wholesale order done. And then it'll just be a case of making the 10 deli bowls, which I'll do next week. So I've got a little plan in place. Hopefully I'll be able to stick to it. They don't need them until next month anyway, so got plenty of time, but obviously it's good to do it straight away, because if something goes wrong like in the kiln, then I've got time to remake things rather than leaving it till last minute and then say the glaze went wrong and then I'd be screwed. So yeah, definitely want to get them done ASAP. But yes, let's trim the salt. I was going to say salt rests. Let's trim the salt pigs and spoon rests. confident that you've got a really nice smooth curve on the inside, because then when you trim your curve on the outside, the walls will be nice and even all the way around. If you've got any kind of corners going on in here, when you then trim this round where the corner is on the inside, it's going to leave you with a thin patch, which obviously is not good. So just make sure you've got a really nice curve on the inside before you trim it. And now I've got it trimmed, I'm going to add the offset shape. So I'm just going to hold it at an angle like this, and then just pat it until it will sit off centre like that. The spoon rests are super easy to trim. When I throw them, I try and take off as much excess as I can, because it's really hard to trim a lot off this part now because the spout will be in the way. So it's literally just going to need a tiny tidy up, but the shape's already there, and then just once over the top. And I've just put down a pad of clay with a sponge on the top, and that's just going to support the floor so that when I press on it, it doesn't kind of make it bend. So I'm literally going to take the tiniest bit of clay off from this corner and just being super careful not to hit the spout. And then all the way across once, just to neaten the base up. Like that. And then I'll just add a little bevel. That's done. We'll just need a little sponge. I'm so chuffed. I managed to get all 15 of those mugs done in like just under an hour. So yeah, really pleased with that. I kind of thought it would take me more like an hour and a half. So yeah, they weren't really smooth. I think yesterday when I was doing the tea strainers and the espresso mugs, I was using Reclaim that was a little on the hard side, and that was just being so annoying and like fiddly. Whereas this was clay fresh out of the bag, so it was really nice and soft, and I feel like it was just so much easier, which is nice. Cool, so now I'm going to tidy up, and then I think that's me done for the day. I've got a lesson later, so alright, see you when I see you. Hi guys, so today I need to trim the espresso mugs and the tea strainers, and then I need to make the handles for them. So the espresso mugs will have like a little C-shaped handle, and the tea strainers will have a little like a little handle on each side. So I'm going to use my extruder for that, as I need to make quite a few. And I think I'm also going to make the handles for my big mugs as well now. So they're not ready to trim yet, but I thought if I make up the handles whilst I'm using the extruder and everything, then I can just set them in a little plastic box and they'll be ready to put on whenever I'm able to trim the mugs. So yeah, I'm going to make lots of handles with my extruder, trim the espresso mugs and trim the tea strainers, put the holes in the put the holes in the tea strainers as well. And it's a really nice day and I really want to sit outside, so I think I'm going to get these trimmed, and then once the handles are made I think I might take them outside in a little plastic box so they don't dry out too much in the sun, and attach them outside. So I think that'll be nice. I've got some like not super soft reclaim, which I think is going to be good for the handles. You don't want them too soft because then they're super sticky. Whereas this should just be a little bit easier to use, and this is kind of a bit too hard to throw with, so it's good to use it up for the handles. I've got quite a lot here, so I'm going to cut this in half and then just shape it so that it's going to fit in the extruder before I start extruding. Yeah, I'm just kind of like slapping it into a shape that's going to fit in the extruder gun. So this is the die I use, and this is made by Old Forge Pottery. So I got it off his website, and it's like the perfect shape. So that then slots in there. Die goes on. And then there's obviously going to be loads of air trapped in there now, so if I just started extruding this, they're going to end up with loads of air bubbles. So what I do is I push my hand right over the hole so it blocks it, and then I start squeezing, and this is just kind of compacting all of the clay together. So that's now hopefully just like pushed all the clay down and got rid of most of the air. Don't really know where the air is going because I'm holding my hand over. I guess so much just escapes. I don't know. Now we can start extruding. This part kills my arm, but here we go. I like to hold it on the bench like this and then start squeezing and kind of moving it out as I go. Oh, that's a little air bubble. Okay, so now obviously it comes out a little bit funky, and where I kind of like pump the thing, you get these little marks, so I just like to like straighten it out a little bit, and then I'll sponge it. Okay, so I've sponged over the whole thing, and then if you have any like fairly big little air bubbles, I just take like the tiniest little piece of clay and just kind of fill them in and smooth them out. Oh. So I'm going to use this handle former for my big mugs, and I'll actually just try and get it nice and straight. Take this on the end, roll it up, and then cut it. And that's one handle, so I'll just try and keep it in the same shape as I take it out and just let it sit there, and that's going to dry. like that until it's a little bit firmer and kind of holds its shape, and I can attach it to the mug. So I need to do 15 of those. Hopefully I have enough here. So the little handles I make for the espresso mugs are smaller than any of the little formers I have. So I just measure out 7 centimeters on my shrinkage ruler and then just kind of bend them into shape like that. Cool, so then the last thing to make, and I think I'll have to extrude some more clay, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine, are 14 3 centimeter little stubs, which I'll then curve the ends off to make the little arms of the tea strainers. So I've got 7 of them, so yeah, I need to double that, so 14 of them. So let's see. I mean, if this fits, I'll be very happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's not going to fit. 11, 12, 13. So close. Oh, what's this? There's a little piece that would work. 14. Can I salvage this? Good. Okay. This is going to be fine because I'm going to fill it with a piece of clay. Alright, we've got 15 pieces. That's good. Phew. I did not want to. Wait, do I need 15? 14. Okay. I think I've got more than I need. Have I? I don't know. 1, 2. Oh, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I don't need that one. Sorry. 2, 4, 10, 12, 14. Yay! Yes! That makes me happy. That makes me real happy. So for these, I just take it a little bit off the edge just to give it a nice little like rounded shape. I think it's nice. Like that. Okay, so to trim the espresso mugs and the tea strainers, I'm going to use this little chuck I made. So I'm just going to stick this to the wheel with a little bit of water. And then I've just smushed the very corner of the chuck into the wheel with a little wooden tool, just to make sure that's nice and stuck. Now this is going to make sure that my mugs and tea strainers are really nice and round, because this is round And this can just sit on the top. Actually, that is a bit too tall, I think, so I'm just gonna take a little section off the top because I think I've made the whole chuck a little bit too tall. I'm just gonna take a knife. Rims of the espresso mugs, I just get them centered, then I pop this little spinning tool on the inside so I can hold it down, and then I just kind of trim a little bit like that. So I just kind of add a slight angle into the mug, which just makes it nice and comfortable to drink out of. And that's it. Oops. Then I keep this tool in there, flip it upside down, and that then gives me something hard to press into when I stamp it. everything's trimmed, all the handles are made. I was going to go sit outside in the sun, but I think it's just going to be too much faff, like taking everything out there. Trying not to let things dry out too much. I haven't got my workbench, so I'm going to skip that plan. Instead, I went and got a cookie from the bakery next door, and I'm going to eat this as a little snack, and then I'm just going to attach everything in here. It's almost 4:30, so I'm gonna stop there. Didn't manage to get the handles on the tea strainers, but I can do that tomorrow. I left all the espresso mug handle joins fairly rough after I kind of spread the slip out, but they're gonna go back in the box overnight to kind of all become one, and then tomorrow I'll then go around and sponge all the rough bits. Yes, so I'm gonna tidy up and then get the studio prepared for a lesson I've got at 6. And then, yeah, see you back here tomorrow. Bye guys. Hey guys, I'm back and I'm finishing up the tea strainers. So last time I punched the holes through, but I didn't have time to do the handles or kind of neaten them up. So that's what I'm doing now. So yeah, all the holes are in it. But you can see they're like a little bit rough and the guidelines are still visible. So I'm just gonna take a sponge and I'm just gonna go around and smooth all the holes. And on the outside as well. Okay, so that then kind of smooths the surfaces of the holes. But the lines are still a little bit visible. So I take a silicone rib, and also where the sponge is kind of sponged, it roughs up the surface a little bit because my clay's got grog in it. So I just take my silicone rib and just kind of press the grog back in to make it feel nice and smooth again. Okay, and then there's still little bits of the line visible, so I now take a little wooden tool and just kind of go over it like this, and that will just blend in any last little bits. If they'd chosen one of my coloured glazes, so my green, white or brown, I wouldn't bother doing this step because the glaze will cover tiny little lines like that. But they want these tea strainers in my clear glaze, so you'll definitely be able to see these lines still. So that's why I'm just taking an extra minute just to go over, make sure they're really nice and smooth. And then final thing is just to go back into all these holes with this tool, this little wooden tool, and just kind of punch them. Where it's sponged over, it can kind of like fill them back in a little bit. So I just give them one last little once over. And now that's ready to have its little arms attached. So here are my little arms for the tea strainers, and at the moment it's got a flat edge where it's going to attach. That's not going to be a great joint because there's going to be like a gap here and here. So what I'm going to do is take a rolling pin and just like let the end sit in some water for a second to soften it, and then I'm just going to like rock it back and forth on this rolling pin. And it just kind of like rounds the end. So now it will fit nice and snug on the tea strainer, and then this little flare of clay that you get is actually gonna be really useful because that's what I'm gonna use to like smush it into the tea strainer to give it a nice kind of seamless look. So I'm just gonna do that for all my little arms. These tea strainers actually take so much work, like all the holes, like the finessing, the arms, but they're priced at less than like a mug. So a mug takes up more room in the kiln, so it's more electricity costs, but it doesn't take me as long to make a mug. But people wouldn't pay more for a tea strainer than they would a mug, so it's hard. Right, I'm now going to attach the handles to the tea strainers. I put my little chicken stamp on the bottom of one of the arms, and that will go underneath like that, just because this is all going to get glazed, so it doesn't really work with my stamps, whereas I leave the arms unglazed and I fire them upside down and leave the rims unglazed, so that all this part, which is going to be submerged in the water, will be glazed. So I'm going to attach them on my little chuck, just so the rims don't get misshapen. And yeah, they'll just go right at the top here. I'm going to do it in line with the holes. So just like all my other handles. So I'm just going to score it first. And then pop some slip on and make sure the chicken is facing up now and stick it on. Make sure it's lined up that way. And there you have it. So I'll let that sit and dry, and then I'll neaten up the joins. So a little update, I've managed to get the spoon rests, salt pigs, espresso mugs and tea strainers through the kiln for their bisque firing. The mugs are drying, so now all that's left to make are the 6 dressing bowls. So they're a slightly smaller bowl with a little handle and a spout, and 12 cereal bowls. So I'm going to do them today, plus an extra 1 or 2 just for in case something goes wrong. So the dressing bowls I use 450 grams of clay, and the cereal bowls I use 700 grams. And this is the tool I like to use to shape them. So it's a really nice rib that I got from somebody's studio sale when they were closing down. And yeah, you just push it in and push out, and it gives a really nice, like pretty similar curve each time. So that's what I like to use for my bowls. Alright, so let's get the clay weighed out. And then once I've got these done, that's the wholesale order finished, and then it's just going to be the 10 deli bowls that I need to get done after that. wholesale order is complete now, which means I need to move on to the deli bowls. So these are going to be used on their deli to hold olives and serve olives from, which is really cool. These are custom bowls, so they want the diameter at the top to be 21 centimeters. They want them to have a height of 11 centimeters, and they want the base to be quite wide, so it's not going to come in really narrow with a foot like my cereal bowls. It'll be more like a shallower curve and then like a wider base. So I was thinking I might try 17 centimeters along the base, like the opening, and see how that looks. And I used the volume of a cylinder equation on Google just to work out like the volume, and then I kind of use that to try and work out how much clay to use as like a starting point, even though it's not a cylinder, it's a bowl, but it's a good place to start. So that came out as 2,600 cubed centimeters, so I'm going to try 2.5 kilograms of clay, which I think it seems like a lot, but I think because they're wide at the base, there's going to be a lot of clay going into the base and quite tall. So I'm going to try that first, see how it is. If it's obviously way too much clay, then the next one I can just cut it down. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. And then if I have time later, I also would like to trim the cereal bowls and the dressing bowls that I made the other day. Didn't have time to do them yesterday, and ideally they need to be done today. If not, I need to give them a good spray, wrap them up, and then do them tomorrow. I've just got a couple of things out of the kiln. So I fired the salt pigs and the espresso mugs, so most of them are clear. They all came out lovely. The green has come out a little bit thin in the application, so I think I need to take out a little bit of water from the glaze. I think when I mixed it up, I put in too much water, which is annoying. So I'm just gonna remake them, because I think reglazing them, I don't know. But I think I'd rather just remake them. And then like the green is like fine, but it's not what I pictured and sent to them, so it's not what they're like expecting. So I'll be able to sell them in my shop, just not for the wholesale order. So I'm going to remake them. So I also want to do that today. So 10 deli bowls, 7 espresso cups today. I still have like 4 weeks, I think, so this is why you want to start early in case things like this happen in the glaze kiln, because imagine if like the deadline was next week, that's not enough time to remake the mugs. So guys, this is 2.5 kilograms of clay, and it's come out about 2 centimeters too wide at the top. So I opened it to 17 centimeters on the shrinkage ruler. So I did like 19. And it's come out to 25, and I wanted it ideally to be 23 to shrink down to 21. Yes, so I'm gonna, and I took a little piece off, so I reckon I could probably do it with 2.4 kilograms is what I'm gonna try next. I'm gonna open the base to be 15 on the shrinkage ruler, so more like 16.5. But I really like this bowl, so I think I'm gonna keep this for myself, because it'll make a really good salad bowl. Ooh, I might even do like, so there's somebody on Instagram, I'll find them and put their username because it's their original design, but they did like a garlic grater on the bottom of their salad bowls, so then you can make the dressing and then put the salad in. I'm gonna do that because that would be really cool. It's hard to know when to stop. Okay, so I'm going to try again with 2.4 kilograms. I was kind of hoping that was going to be way too big because having to wedge out and center 10 2.5 kilogram pieces of clay is going to be very tiring. But here we go. I'm going to do less. I'm going to do 2.2. Changed my mind. 2.2 feels good. Let's try that. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go again. Alright guys, so I'm really happy with the shape, the size is spot on, and yeah, that was 2.2 kilograms. So I'm now gonna carry on and make the rest. That took me about 18 minutes, although I did have a delivery which I had to quickly go and get. So maybe let's call it 15 minutes. So yeah, got another 9 to go, although I probably should make another 10, so then I have a spare one in case something goes wrong to one of them. So we're probably going to be here for another 3 hours doing this, so let's get to it. Alright guys, I'm 4 bowls in, plus my one. And it's now 1:30, so I'm gonna go have a little lunch break and take parsnip home. Okay, see you back here in a bit. Hey guys! So I'm gonna wax and glaze some of these pots that have been bisque fired. Kind of doing everything in stages, so I still have some things to trim there. These have already been fired, so yeah, I'm at all different stages of this order. So with the tea strainers, I wax the whole handle and I'll sponge around the rim because I'm gonna fire these upside down like that. So then that way, all of the part that's gonna be in the tea will be glazed. So I'm just gonna paint that on by hand for these. And then for my spoon rests, I'm just gonna wax the bases on them and then I can glaze them. These are all clear glaze, so super easy, super quick. It's literally just in and out of the clear glaze. You don't want that going on too thick because then it can go a bit cloudy. Whereas like the coloured glazes, I tend to dip them for like 5 or 6 seconds and then I'll be able to get them in the kiln tonight. And that's a few more things I can tick off my list. Okay, so for the big serving bowls, whilst they're still like a little bit damp on the bottom, but kind of dryish on the inside, not like sticky to the touch, leather hard, I'm going to reattach them to the wheel. So, I don't know if you can see that, I've put the back pins back on so I can slot this on. And then I'm just going to take a metal rib and I'm going to make sure that I've got a really nice, smooth, continuous curve on the inside of my bowls. So at the moment there's like slight ridge around here, so I just want to use this to kind of scrape it off and get it really nice and smooth. Yeah. Hi guys, it's Wednesday evening, just finished up my last lesson for the day and I thought I would just finish trimming my deli bowls. So I managed to get a few trimmed the other day, and then yeah, I've been keeping these ones spritzed and under some plastic, and I really need to get them trimmed because the kiln's going to be on tonight and I don't want them to dry out too much. So I'm going to quickly trim them now, and then that's everything done. So then it'll just dry out and start going through the kiln. So feeling good. Still got like 3 weeks, 4 weeks until the deadline, so it's good. These are nice and easy to trim because they just want them to be flat with the curve coming right under. So it's just a case of removing this excess clay here and getting a nice shape. So yeah, super nice and easy. So I'm just going to tap center it and then stick it down with some lugs of clay. And then I just take this kind of tear-shaped loop tool and my little spinner that goes on the top, and then I'm just gonna start trimming away all this excess. It comes off in really nice, satisfying swirls. Got a bit of like a higher point on the base here, so I'm just gonna trim that flat before I carry on because it's kind of disturbing like how the tool as it trims. So I'm just gonna go across the base, try and trim that out. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the curve, and I'm just going to go back and forth and get the shape really nice. Oh, I'll use this again. And I'm looking in a mirror as I do this, so I can see the shape. So I've already got this pretty flat. I'm just going to take a little bit more from the middle section, just so it's like slightly caved down, just so then it really won't wobble. I don't want it to wobble. So I'm starting from about here, and then I'll just take off a little bit extra. Then I'm going to take a metal rib and just smooth that right out. And then any little bits on the inside from when I trimmed the inside, I just take a little brush and brush out. Hi guys! I've been a little bit slack with filming the glazing process. It's been a little bit stressful, so basically my kiln elements wore out, but I don't keep a log or anything, so I didn't know they were going to wear out, and I put a glaze fire on, came down in the morning, and it should have shut off like an hour before I came in, and it was still going, and it was at 1226 and it should shut off at 1249. So it's almost there, but as I watched it, it was like slowly dropping. So I shut it off because I knew that it just wasn't gonna reach temperature. And luckily everything in it was all right. I think because it had been like holding at a high temperature for about an hour, I think it was more like 50 minutes, it then, like the heat work in the kiln I think was enough that the glazes all came out fine and how they usually do. So that was like a relief. But then obviously my kiln isn't working. So we then had to wait a day or two until it had cooled down enough that we could take the back off and just check, and the elements had worn a lot. So new they should be 8 ohms resistance, but they were like 9.6 or something I think. So luckily now I've got this new kiln, my Nabotherm, I was able to just go online and order some new elements with next day delivery and get them installed the next day. So that was awesome. Me and Tom did it ourselves, so I will insert a little clip from when we were doing that. And yeah, since then it's been fine, so whew, I'm back on track. I've got everything glazed and finished apart from the green big mugs. So I fired them. I fired them all on the top level of my kiln, and they all came out a really nice green, but it was a lot lighter in colour than the green bowls that were on the middle shelf and the bottom shelf. So they come out more like this, which is how I like it, with like bits of light green, bits of dark green, like lots of nice variation. And they came out more like just this colour here, which is nice, but they didn't then look like they matched the bowls and the espresso mugs. And then I got a bit stressed, so I was like, okay, I'm going to refire them on the middle shelf and see if that would then get them looking similar. And then they came out way too dark, so they almost came out like a bit blue and really glassy. Again, they look nice, but not what I was going for. So then I was in a bit of like panic stations. Luckily, I'd already been making some mugs that were drying, that were going to be for the shop. So I've been able to glaze them. They're going to go in the kiln tonight, and I'm going to make sure I put them on the middle shelf. Same place the cereal bowls went, same place the espresso mugs went. So they should come out the same, fingers crossed, because I've got to deliver everything on Friday. So today is Tuesday. So they're going to come out of the kiln on Thursday. And then if they don't come out right, I'm screwed. Not ideal, so hopefully they come out all right. They should do. They should do. Please. But I've just glazed them. I'm just letting them dry for a little bit before I sponge them off and just neaten up the tongue marks, and then they'll go in the kiln, and then that should be everything done. I've just got to pack everything up, which I'll do maybe tomorrow, and then deliver on Friday. Hey guys, so I'm going to start packing up some stuff. I swept and mopped the floor so that I could sit down here with some tissue paper, and I've got a box ready with just some of this like bubble stuff that I had from a previous order that I got delivered. I like to keep all that kind of stuff so I can use it for things like this. And then I've got my crate of pots here ready to wrap. I'm delivering these myself, and I know they're not going to be getting like chucked around at a sorting office. I'm wrapping them like fairly lightly, We haven't got far to go, so I know they're not gonna break, so it's fine. Alright, I've got everything packed up and ready to go in the morning. My sister's going to pick me up and we're going to go together and drop them off. So yeah, really excited, also a bit nervous, but I mean excited. Nervous just because I'm quite a perfectionist and I don't know, I guess I just put quite a lot of pressure on myself to get everything like spot on. And you know, there are small variations in size, which is normal because it's handmade pottery, but it just makes me stressed. It's handmade. It's only a few it's like millimeters as well I'm talking, so it doesn't matter. And I just need to keep reminding myself that it's okay because handmade pottery isn't meant to be perfect. And if they wanted perfect stuff, they would be buying it machine made. So we're all good here. So yes, everything's ready to go. We'll deliver it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and then the shop's grand opening is on the 20th, which is on Tuesday. So I'm not able to go during the week, but we're gonna go at the weekend just to see how everything looks, and yeah, be able to take some videos, and I'm gonna order some olives. I'll see you in the morning when we go to deliver. Hello everybody. Okay, we're here to take a look at the pots in action. It's very busy. Overflow car park is overflowing.